It's very hard. It's like a baby. You've lost something. So yeah, meant a lot to me. Yeah.
Butch Lenton, Mayor of Wintonshire Council. My first term as Mayor. I have Central Motors, our family business with my wife and myself. With Winton, for me, the uniqueness is the landscapes and the vastness. When it does rain, how good it is great. And the other thing that's important is that there's a great variety of people, you know, and it just builds to the town. The friendliness, you know, why they wish to live here, you know, they enjoy it, and they really know what the little towns are like and how friendly they are, and it's hard to leave then, I think. Definitely people do pull up to go through the Waltzing Matilda Centre, because the reenactment of Waltzing Matilda as you walked in, I thought was very good. So, you know, it definitely will. We've got to find things so people can still want to stay and go visit other things that are in Winton, such as Arno's Wall and the musical fence, the truck museum, you know, the Opalton if possible, and La Quarry, which is the dinosaur tracks themselves. And you've got now the Australian Age of Dinosaurs now, which is a great museum too, so and a great scenery from up where it's built. Yeah, I was away actually, and I was in Brisbane, and Ros, my wife, rang me when it started and said there's a fairly big fire down the main street, and I think it may be the Waltzing Matilda Centre. And it's just one of them things that you don't think will happen.
I got a call, I guess it was about 2:30. I was just about to tell them to bugger off because it was 2:30 in the morning. Thought it was one of my drunk mates, but it was Gerard, the engineer at the council, had called to say that the Waltzing Matilda Centre was on fire. I got my camera and went down there, and it was like a war zone. It was massive, like the whole centre was on fire. Amanda, who ran the kitchen, she was there with tears in her eyes. She'd worked at the centre in the kitchen and ran the kitchen and the cafe from day one. So I guess 20 years of her life was going up in flames in front of her.
I got a phone call from Jenny. She's in charge of the bank. So she was called by security because the bank alarm kept going off saying multiple intruders. She got down here, seen the flames in the back of the building, then rang me. And she just said to me, "Don't come down, it's too sad." She said the centre's on fire. Well, everyone that came down to have a look at the fire, I'd say 80% of them jumped in and helped. There was only 5 fireys, so everyone grabbed a hose, or they were pulling things, helping things, running water to the fireys, changing gas over. Whoever came in the male line, a couple of females, all jumped in to help.
People just came in and literally, you know, arms open saying, "How can I help?" And whatever needed to be done got done. It was quite amazing. As I said, from hanging onto a hose to moving something from somewhere to right at the end where people were making us sandwiches and coffee, and it was great. It really was. It was very sad to lose such a wonderful, inspirational piece of memorabilia for the town. But in doing it, it was an amazing show of character by so many people in the town coming together and helping out to try and save it.
Yeah, a lot of memories, a lot of good ones, a couple of bad. I outseen 7 managers, so yeah, it's very hard. It's like a baby. You've lost something. So yeah, meant a lot to me. Yeah.
It was a huge blow to everybody to lose the Waltzing Matilda Centre. And I think the thing to stress is that this is going to be rebuilt.
You know, the people of this town, they know how important that centre is. People come, that's one of the main tourist attractions in this part of the world. So they're a very strong community banding together, and I think that's just fascinating that in the midst of, you know, what is, you know, a harsh environment, you just get that great Aussie spirit happening.
The spirit of Waltzing Matilda is still strong in Winton. It's still very strong here because the story of Waltzing Matilda came out of this area. It came out of the people, it came out of the countryside, it came out of the animals that live here. The spirit of Waltzing Matilda is still alive and very strong here. And yes, one day again, from the ashes of the fire, we will have another Waltzing Matilda Centre that will be a focus to keep that part of our Australian history together. As with droughts and flooding rain, it will take more than a fire to break the spirit of Waltzing Matilda in Winton. The ghost of Waltzing Matilda will always be most strongly heard in the Winton area because it came from this land. It came from the Winton people, the waterholes, the animals. The ghost of Waltzing Matilda will live on in Australia and in Winton despite the fire.
You come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda.